whom we bow down or we may even feel separated from in some way, our gratitude is very much like a ritual of worship or a little habit we've acquired. Gratitude has been called a virtue, but it's so much more than this. It's a state of consciousness in which we are lifted to a new experience of life. God doesn't need our gratitude, but we do. Long before the time of Jesus, Plato wrote, "He enjoys much who is thankful. A grateful mind is a great mind which eventually attracts to itself great things. A truly grateful person is great because they've turned all the lights on within themselves." We think of gratitude and thankfulness in terms of something to give thanks for. But the attitude of gratitude is not simply a reaction to good things. It can be the cause of them. When Jesus was faced with 5,000 hungry people, in Matthew 14, verse 19, he lifted up his eyes and gave thanks. And then he proceeded to feed that hungry multitude with what was available. It was not a thanks for food that was already on the table, for there were only 5 small loaves and 7 pretty tiny fish. It was a technique by which Jesus turned himself towards more infinite possibilities, to the opulence of the universe, which is always at hand. And in this attitude, he became great and did great things. Great acts follow great thoughts, which come from grateful hearts. Aha, you say. How do we give thanks for war and economic crises and famine? How do we give thanks for them? We don't. In a very real sense, these things have come because in general terms, we haven't been great in heart and mind. The command is, in everything, give thanks, not for everything. We don't want to give thanks for war and famine and failure. Last week, Reverend Danny reminded us of the infinite possibilities that exist to bring about peace. If we could lift up our eyes high enough and give thanks deeply enough, we could set off a chain reaction of peace and power that could stop war, resolve disharmonies, and heal our ills. There's a concept that you may have heard of, and I think it's worth repeating. Life is lived from within out. If we're not satisfied with what we have or have not, instead of complaining about it, let's open the door to releasing more of that infinite potential that is always within each of us. It seems obvious to most of us that one can never get something for nothing. It's what you have that is the starting place from which the great abundance may be acquired. Whatever you begin with largely determines what comes from it. It hasn't been the habit of most of humanity to think of gratitude as a generator of power. To most of it suggests a warm, pleasant feeling associated with something we've received or an admirable quality to cultivate. Power, however, means to us the ability to do or accomplish. So what then can gratitude do or accomplish? Well, behind it is spiritual law, and in all spiritual law is energy, that will work for us when we apply it correctly. Gratitude is a composite of seeing and feeling, of seeing good and of feeling a corresponding reaction in the heart or love center. Seeing good is God's way of seeing. It is creative and brings good into manifestation. The intellect may recognize a thing as good without there being a response in the heart. But this, spiritually speaking, is not gratitude, because that love reaction is necessary. Who here has been blessed by a homemade card brought home from school, or by someone who comes up and asks, "How may I help you? Is there anything I can do?" when they know you're going through a difficult time in your life? Through seeing good and meditating upon it and responding from our heart center, power and spiritual energy are generated. To make this effective in our life and a blessing to others, we must release it. Let the good you have, however great or small you may think it is, be a symbol of the goodness of God alive in the world. Let the dollar bill, perhaps the last one you might have, be a symbol of the currency of divine substance. Then lift your eyes and give thanks for the inexhaustible all-sufficiency of God. But remember, the gratitude isn't for God. It's the key to getting tuned into that transcendent force within your own being. There is a depth of possibility in each one of us, which is a constant resource wherever we are or whatever we need, whatever circumstance we may find ourselves in. It is the attitude of gratitude that makes this inner wealth real and tangible as an influence in our human experience. You may be familiar with the story of Jesus, who raised his friend Lazarus from the dead. Lazarus' sisters were pretty upset with him for not showing up before Lazarus died. But he went to the tomb with them, and after having the stone removed, he lifted up his eyes. He turned away from the appearance to the inner power within him and said, "Father, I thank thee, for thou hearest me." Can't you imagine the people standing around thinking, "Thanksgiving? What is there to give thanks for? Lazarus is dead. Why doesn't this Galilean wait and see if he can perform the miracle before giving thanks?" But Jesus knew that the key to inner power was acknowledging the availability of that power, and giving thanks is the key to releasing it. He then spoke the words, "Lazarus, come forth." There's nothing else in the story about him giving any further thanks. And with that key, the result proved inevitable. He lifted up his eyes. He opened his eyes to see the added dimension of life and made it real through thankfulness. Gratitude. This word gets bandied about a lot these days, and I often wonder how much people actually incorporate it into their daily lives with faith and a heartfelt sense of its power. How often do we feel we could spend more time being grateful for what we have? And yet, too often, we get caught up in everyday life events without paying much attention to them, let alone expressing gratitude in them. When life happens and we get stuck in the dramas and tribulations, the wheels can fall off, can't they, sometimes? We can bemoan our lot in life without giving thought to all that is well and good and joyful. And yet, these moments do exist even in the difficult times. So I invite you to think about expressing gratitude just as soon as you wake up in the morning. Give thanks for the day ahead, the people you will see, the plans you will accomplish. Say thank you with each step you take, and be present to what is going on around you. Notice that beautifully intricate spider web that just appeared in your garden this morning. Maybe you want to look at it, contemplate its intricacy, and marvel at the pure beauty of nature. An attitude of gratitude is really so simple, and it's something we can all incorporate into our daily lives, whether we're spiritual or not. It's an empowering act that results in positive actions and outcomes. Giving thanks is the key to turning on the life and light and wisdom and substance and love from within. And so this is. Amen.
Thank you for all our prayers answered. Thank you for all the gifts received. It's all so clear. I have known that Spirit's near. So thanks for all the blessings in my life.
I invite you now to get comfortable in your seat, and if you like, you may close your outer eyes. Start to notice your breathing and take a deep, slow, relaxing breath in through the nose and let it go out through the mouth. Take another deep breath in. Hold it for a few seconds and then release it softly in a sigh. And allow your breathing to resume its normal rhythm. Allow yourself to surrender to the movement of spirit, that sense of warm, loving energy, peace, and calm as you release your thoughts and feelings and allow yourself to relax in all that is. Shift your attention to your heart and take another deep, slow breath, continuing to calm your thoughts and feelings. And in this quiet awareness, let these words flow into your consciousness. Today, I give thanks for all my blessings, for all the good that is poured out upon me. And I give thanks that I can give, that I can share, that I can help enrich and bless the lives of others. I am open and willing to experience divine love, to look deeply, listen keenly, and allow love to reveal itself through me. Whether things are good or times are tough, I dwell in a state of love and gratitude. Lifted by love, I see blessings all around me, and I also practice self-love by nourishing my mind, body, and spirit. I focus my thoughts on good and loving intentions, and the harmonizing power of love uplifts my relationships. I focus my awareness on love that is present in each moment and in every circumstance. Harmony, peace, and joy are ever present within. And now, as we prepare to return to the world around us, we can gently open our eyes, and in a spirit of gratitude, we give of our time and talents, our encouragement, appreciation, and praise. We give our faith in the goodness and greatness of people. In a spirit of gratitude, we give. In a spirit of gratitude, we live. In a spirit of gratitude, we are blessed and a blessing.